Good morning, Dr. Gary. We all know that recently there are some brand new high-tech security gates that have arrived in our school campus. We're all very curious about all the stuff that has to do with those machines. Therefore, we would like to interview some questions revolving around those newcomers in our campus.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
First of all, can you please tell us why did the school decided to have those high-tech security gates in our campus?
Sure, that's a very good question. For the security gates, it's mainly based on child safety, student safety. This is an area that all accredited schools, particularly those schools that are accredited by the United States, which is our accrediting agency, it's a requirement so that we can ensure that the students come into school and only the students or only the students' parents or persons who we know who are safe. That's why we decided to install the gates. It's all about personal safety.
Knowing that, can we also know how much it costs approximately?
That I can't answer because I didn't purchase the gates, but the managing director, Uon Kolak, should be able to tell you about how much those gates cost. I'm sure they were expensive.
Okay, so how legitimately are the security gates going to work? Will we need our ID cards every time in and out?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me explain how I understand they work. And I met with the persons who are installing them because I needed to know for myself, and also I need to be able to explain just not only to students but also to parents and to teachers. So after my interview with the installers of the security devices, I learned that they have a facial recognition component. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload all the students' images, their photos, into their system so that as you're approaching the gate, the screen will see your image already and it will automatically open the gate because your image is already in there. So you shouldn't even have to use a card. You shouldn't have to stop and press your face up against a screen. It should see you coming, recognize you, open the gate, and you should just be able to walk through. Now, that's ideally how they've been described as working. Now, we haven't tried them out yet, so we don't know how they're going to work. If somebody cannot register with their face, your ID card should also be able to get you in. So for example, let's say maybe you've got a different hairstyle or somehow you look so different it doesn't read you. Then you should be able to put your ID card down and enter that way. And it's the same thing when you exit. So they're dual doors, in other words. The one that you go through is the same one that you can exit. They work both ways. There's a facial recognition camera on each side. So it should let you out just as easily as it lets you in. And now let me connect this with the child safety and student safety part of it. First of all, we need to know when our students come to school and are they on campus. There have been a few cases in the past where students didn't make their way into campus for whatever reason. They maybe had been dropped off by parents. Parents insist that they're at the school, but maybe they did something instead of going into the school, and so we can't account for where they are. Well, now we have the system that is tied into the WeChat app. So when a student, for example, let's say you walk through the gate, your parents will get a WeChat message saying at 8:05 your daughter arrived in campus. And when you leave the gate, let's say you leave at 4:35, it says your daughter left the campus at 4:35. So your parents will not have to worry at all about where you are or your safety. They'll know exactly that you were in campus these hours. And if we ever had to find a student, or maybe it's after school and a parent's trying to track a student down and they say, we know they're staying for this club or that club, and we can say we've searched the whole campus, we can't find this person. Sometimes this happens and we're on the intercom trying to find somebody. Sometimes it could be because they just left with another student and their parent. Maybe they went to a friend's house. Well, now this gate will already tell us that. Oh, they left at 4:32. And so we know that they're off campus. So that's another great way that it just ensures that we're taking care of you and your parents know that you're here at school safely, or if you're not on campus, then we can say, well, the student's not on campus.
That's very cool. So when exactly will we start utilizing them?
That's a good question. The main installation of the basic machines, as I understand it, is just about complete. The part that they need to do now is that software part where they upload everybody's images, everyone's photos, and of course they need to connect it all to WeChat. And the way that they're doing it is that not only will your photo be linked to your parents' WeChat account, but that means that your parents need to have a WeChat account, so we have to wait for that. Also, the way that they described it is all the WeChats can also be linked in a group message to individual administrators and to myself. So let's say there's an emergency on campus. Let's say there's an earthquake or some major thing happens, and I need to let the parents know what we're doing and that everybody's okay. Well, through the same gate that we're using for a different purpose, I can now send a message out that as long as everybody's got WeChat, I can connect with every parent just like that, send an individual message to say, this happened, don't worry, everybody's okay. Or let's say there's an important meeting for college-bound students at the secondary level. Teacher Barbara can send a message to all the high school parents and say, here's a meeting about attending college in the U.S., we'd like you to attend, and she could do it just like that.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, who will and will not be allowed to get in once the gates are set?
That's another good question. Well, all students are already logged into our system, and I talked with the managing director about this, and he said that he's going to issue identity cards. I believe I'm not sure the number, I think it's 3 per family. So that means if you've got, your parents, and then maybe there's another person that drives, or there's an extra car, parents can get the cards. I think they would have to purchase the cards that they need, and then you've got so many per family. And then of course, if you've got that card, even if your face isn't in our system, you can still get in and get out. And if you're somebody who's not on anybody's list, but a guest visiting the school, you still enter the same way that we always did that, where our security will take a copy of your ID, you'll sign in, you'll get a guest badge, and you can enter that way. Our security has a master key that they can let everybody in through that gate. So it's not like, people that we want to come in just because their face isn't in our system can't get in. We've got a way to do that also. But it does prevent people from coming in who shouldn't be on the campus. And we haven't really had a problem with that in the past, but you just never know, and it's just a great way of safely securing our community from outsiders who might want to just kind of slip in with that group during that busy drop-off or pickup time.
That's very informative. Thank you so much for your cooperation, and we look forward to interviewing more interesting questions in the future.
Sure, happy to answer your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.